find a diamond by scratching on the surface. You'll never find a pearl if you wait out on the shore. That's the way it is when you're looking for the answers. Wisdom lies deep, wisdom lies in the search. Look a little deeper, go a little further, search a little harder. Don't you know you've got to grow? You know you've got to grow. You know you've got to grow. You've got to grow.
Hello and welcome to yet another engrossing episode of Probe. In this episode, we have a burning question for our consideration. This is the question uppermost in the minds of most skeptics. Is the Bible against science? And if so, how can we believe it? On the other hand, the believers say the Bible states scientific facts, but you cannot treat it as a textbook of science. How are we to reconcile these two sides? Come, let us tune into the discussion of Dr. Nirmala Abraham with Reverend Sudhakar about Bible and science.
It is my privilege and my pleasure to welcome you once again to Probe, Reverend Sudhakar. We are glad that you are here to answer all these difficult questions that we have.
Well, I'm here because I believe in God's word, which says, always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that is in you.
Yes. The origin of the universe can never be tested in the laboratory. So, whether you want to believe in creation or you want to believe in evolution, I believe that you need a lot of faith. What do you say?
That's true, of course. And also, in science, there is a faulty assumption that there is no belief or there is no faith. But that is totally wrong. Even as a science person, I know that a scientist should believe in his assumptions, and he should believe in his eyes. He should believe in his sense perceptions. So there are so many things that a scientist also should believe.
Yes.
And he should believe other human beings.
Right.
Otherwise he can't get along with anybody.
Yes.
So it is a faulty thing to say that faith or belief is required only in religion and there is no room for faith or belief in science.
The Bible starts with the words, in the beginning God created. So tell us, when was the universe created and how old is the earth, our planet?
Well, no human being can answer this question with final authority.
Right.
Because we are latecomers. The universe came first, then the plants and the animals and humans, both from the evolutionary perspective and the perspective of the Bible, which gives us the creation account. Humans came late, last ones to come.
Right.
So we were not there to observe. And so we have to do some indirect experimentation to find it. And scientists have been trying to find that out. And as I mentioned in another episode earlier, there was a time when scientists were dogmatic in saying that the universe was at least 50 billion years old. But as they continued their research using various dating methods, they have now currently come to the conclusion that the age of the universe could be anything between 8 billions to 13.7 billion years.
So if somebody asks me what is the age of the earth, I can say, I can't tell you because I wasn't there at that time.
That's true. And then come to the biblical side.
Yes.
The Bible does not say anywhere as to when exactly God created the universe. It
Yes.
says God created.
That's it.
It says the universe had a beginning.
Right. But then it is dangerous to create a theology based on or a doctrine based on
Ah.
some things which are not clearly stated in the Bible, right?
That is right.
So that means in this case,
Mhm.
the Bible is definitely not against science,
Oh, absolutely.
because the Bible doesn't say the age of the earth.
Say anything
Yes.
specific
Yes.
about the age of the universe, nor does it say anything specific about the age of the earth.
Now the chicken or the egg conundrum has baffled people over the centuries. Which came first? The chicken, of course, because God did not create eggs as far as I know, and the chicken laid the eggs, right? Now life produces of its own kind. Dogs produce dogs and cats produce cats, roses produce roses. We don't ever see new animals being produced. It is the same species that are reproducing according to what we see today. So then, can we not assume that the biblical story is more authentic than the theory of evolution?
From a scientific angle, we cannot dogmatically say that the term kind that we find in the Bible is exactly the same as a species
Okay.
in science.
All right.
So when the language is very different, we should be very careful not to confuse two different kinds
Okay.
of languages
Okay.
and two different words.
Okay.
Definitely on the basis of the Bible, we can say that there are certain boundaries within which reproduction takes place. In the realm of science, particularly the theory of evolution, they say transspeciation is possible.
Okay.
One species evolving into
Another.
species. They say that a dog-like animal undergoes one genetic mutation and one change in its form, another genetic mutation, another change in form, and it will acquire new characters in form based on the changes that take place in the genetic material. They are called mutations.
Okay.
So mutations result in change of morphology or structure.
Okay.
And all those changes over a long period of time get accumulated, and then in the end you will have a new kind of an animal.
Okay.
So they say, yes, we have some evidence and to believe this, and they give some examples. But as far as I'm concerned, the evidence, I think, is still not very conclusive.
Yes.
It does not mean that the biblical narration that God created is disproved. No,
Yes.
because
The-
this only talks about how what is already there has undergone some change over a period of time.
And this period of time that you are talking about is millions of years, or if not at least thousands of years. So we are not going to be alive at that time, 1,000 years from now, to see the result of the mutations.
That's right.
So that's why it is impossible to study something like that,
Yeah.
and for us to be alive to see the results.
Also, there's another problem that the theory of evolution faces. That is, as far as our scientific knowledge is concerned, most of the mutations are harmful, detrimental.
Okay.
They actually cause damage,
All right.
most of them. A scientist by the name Mueller, who got a Nobel Prize for his work on the mutations and genetics of Drosophila, which is called the Cinderella of genetics, himself says that most of the mutations, more than 90%, are detrimental, harmful. They bring damage.
Okay.
And so, how can we actually believe that those few mutations which might bring about positive changes have actually brought about such change that one species evolved into another?
Right.
So that's another challenge that evolutionary theory
Yes.
faces. So we should never misrepresent the theory of evolution while talking about it.
Yes.
And we should objectively evaluate
Right.
the so-called evidences they are presenting to see
Okay.
if they are really evidences,
Yes.
and if they are convincing evidences, or if we need to say, we'll wait and see.
Yes. So we have to be very fair in judging.
Judging.
Right.
Yeah.
Now they also say that according to the Bible, God created light and separated light from darkness from day one, on the first day.
Yeah.
And yet He made the sun and the stars, the light producing objects, only on the fourth day. So then they ask, what was the source of light on day 1, 2 and 3?
Brilliant. Good question. And when critiques or truth seekers ask these kinds of questions, average Christians are floored because they've never bothered to study the Bible carefully
Yes,
and to find out the answers.
right.
So there is a need for us to study our own book sincerely, seriously, carefully,
Right.
and find out answers for these questions so that we are strengthened in our faith and we are equipped to answer the questions that others are asking, which might keep them from faith in the Bible and in the God of the Bible. So it's a very critical thing. And now, let me come to the answer. How does the Bible begin? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Yes.
So, verse number 1, there you have. The heavens and the earth were created. Now, from verse number 2, the focus shifts to earth.
Right.
Alright? So, the rest of the creation is just summarily stated in one
The whole universe.
verse. In one verse, verse number 1.
Because the
The heavens
Bible
and
is
the earth means everything.
That's true. The Bible is all about what happens on planet Earth. So the whole of the universe he sums up in one verse.
One verse.
And then he concentrates on the earth.
Earth.
Brilliant.
So that's one thing we need to remember. Now, on the first day, where did the light come from? From the heavens.
Yes.
And heavens is always used in plural, and it's a reference to everything other than the earth.
Yes.
So, in heavens, what do we have?
The stars.
The stars, millions of them, galaxies, nebulae, and whatnot.
Right.
Now, when you come to the fourth day, there's one important thing we need to realize. If you read from verse 14 to 18, he talks about lights, then he talks about two particular light-giving bodies, the sun and the moon, and things like that. That is only a little bit of an explanation which is hidden in verse number 1. But the focus is still on the earth. And there, the Hebrew language helps us a lot. When it says God created these two lights, there's a particular word that is used there. That is asa. And in verse number 1, the word used is bara.
And what's the difference?
Bara means original creation or creation with something new in it.
Okay.
So, originally he created the heavens and the earth, and in the heavens the stars were already there, and now here he makes these two. So, making asa actually means bringing something out of the existing ones.
Okay.
So, in all likelihood, what God did on the fourth day was to make the sun a point of reference to the earth.
Okay.
And also, another body called the moon also fixing its relationship with the earth.
But then, why is the moon included along with the light producing bodies? Because we all know that the moon only reflects the light of the sun.
But it reflects the light from the sun and then reflects it onto the earth during night.
In the night, we do get light from the moon.
That's right.
Never mind that
and
it's
also
reflected.
diffused light from the other stars and galaxies.
Right. So it doesn't matter how it does it, but it does provide light.
That's right. And
Thank
so,
you.
that also gives us a clue to understand the meaning of the word day, which I hope we will be able to discuss in this show.
Now in Genesis 1:11, it says that God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, herbs, trees, etc." But in Genesis 1:24, God says, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after its kind." Now he did not directly create all these things with his own hands, just like he created Adam. Some evolutionists claim that this was the process of evolution. how creatures after its kind, how it came out. Probably that was evolution. What do you say about that?
Well, definitely no physicalist, no atheist, no naturalist, evolutionist will take that view.
Yes.
Because if they are believers in naturalism, there is no room for anything supernatural like God.
So it's somebody who wants to really bring evolution and creation together who will take this view.
Only a person who believes in God the Creator can actually come up with this view.
So a person who wants to believe in creation as well as evolution and wants to marry the two can take this view.
And such people are called theistic evolutionists.
Okay.
And many Bible believing sincere Christians in the UK and Europe take this view of theistic evolution.
Yes.
They say God created, there's absolutely no doubt. How he created, there's no scientific detailed description in the Bible.
Right.
He says, let the earth produce. But how did the earth produce? There is no detail. Maybe when God said, let the earth produce, he would have initiated this process himself. And it would have happened in a gradual evolutionary kind of process. And when it comes to human beings, they say, the way it is described shows that there is something new about, special about the way God created humans. So they say, maybe similar kind of evolution took place, but at some point of time God would have infused the soul dimension into him. So we became nephesh.
Many skeptics and atheists accuse the Bible of stating that the earth is flat. But according to Job 26:7, it says God hangs the earth on nothing. So science has proved that the earth is a globe and it free floats in space. Then what is this accusation all about? The Bible also says that the earth is hanging free.
That's right. I think people are making a blunder. They are taking the phenomenological language, which is common man's language, that is used in the Bible. If God were to write a scientific book with scientific language and stuff like that, even our scientists today probably would not have been able to understand.
Right.
Because God got the Bible written for everybody, he used everybody's language.
Yes, a layman's
A
language.
layman's language,
Right.
which is based upon how he sees things, how things appear to him.
Yes.
So that language is called phenomenological language, describing
Yes.
things as they appear to us.
The Bible doesn't state anywhere that the earth is flat.
No.
Right.
But there is language like the four corners of the earth.
Okay.
So they say, if it is round, how can you have corners?
We also say about the land of India, the four corners of India. It doesn't mean that our land is a square or a
square
rectangle.
or anything.
Yes.
So there is a figurative way in which we use that language. There's a phenomenological way in which we use that language.
Yes.
But that does not mean that Bible literally says that the earth is flat. No.
Right.
So some others say that Jesus was taken by Satan to a hill and showed him the whole universe. If the earth is like this, globe, spherical, so how could Satan show him everything? So they say, oh, here is another proof that according to the Bible the earth is flat. Who told you? Jesus is supernatural, Satan is supernatural. So there must have been something supernatural in the way Satan showed him.
Yes.
You understand?
Right.
So from that you can't jump to the conclusion that the Bible is teaching that the earth is flat.
Exactly.
This is faulty reasoning. They have no clue about this language. No, scientific language is very different. In this Job 26:7, it talks about the sphere of the earth. And there the Hebrew word is kug, which actually gives this indication that it is a spherical one. And he sits on the sphere of the globe, it says. And he hangs the earth in nothing.
Thank you. And scientists say that in countries with very hot climate, darker skin is good because it prevents an overdose of vitamin D and burning in the skin. And that's why we have people of all colors in the world, depending upon the climate and how hot it is. We have white and black and brown and yellow skin and different races. Now tell us about the different races in the Bible and where did they all come from?
Well, when God created human beings, He created human beings with a certain potential for changes
Yes.
that would be required for them to adjust to different kinds of climates, weather conditions, and things like that. We all have that potential.
Yes.
Now, if I go to a very cool country, over a period of time, my body will get used
Right.
to that coolness, and I'll begin to feel comfortable.
Yes.
And when those who live in the cooler parts of the world come here to hot places like India, over a period of time, their body undergoes some changes because there is that potential that God has kept
Yes.
in us. And now, when they come here, their skin undergoes the process called tanning,
Yes.
where what happens is the melanin, which actually gives us color, which is in the lower layers of their white skin, which is actually not white.
Yes.
It is less brown, and we are dark brown. Some other people are still more darker brown,
Yes.
because melanin is brownish.
Yes.
Okay, so that melanin, which is in the lower layers of their skin, now comes to the upper layers, and so they become darker,
Okay.
browner,
Okay.
so that their skin might not get scorched by the ultraviolet light
Yes.
and things like that.
Right.
So when the continental drift came, and when human beings got dispersed in the 11th chapter and went in different directions, they started interacting with different climatic conditions.
Right.
Their bodies needed to respond and undergo changes. And so it is during that process, from the three sons of Noah, after the flood only they were there, and these three sons of Noah and their children, so genetic combinations, recombination, permutations and changes. So same parents, when they have children, they are different.
Yes.
They're not the same. So as it goes on, changes do come because there is that genetic variation already built in. So from Noah's three children, Shem, Ham and Japheth, different races emerged over a period of time.
Okay.
But all human races
Yes.
are still human because we all have the same number of chromosomes.
Right.
We all have the same human nature, humanness. That's why we are all, in spite of the racial differences, kept under the same category called Homo sapiens.
And we are all equal and God loves all colors.
All colors.
Yes.
Because all are equally created by the same God,
Yes.
in His image and in His likeness.
Right.
And it is that image that gives us equal worth in
Amen.
God's sight.
Yes. There are statements that Jesus made, like, I am the door. Now, does that mean that he is actually a door made of
That
wood?
is-
If you take in the same sense, another verse, the first day God created so and so. So, is it literal when it says the first day and the second day and in 6 days God created? What is the meaning of one day in Genesis 1?
Yeah, I think we need to understand how language is used. Well, some parents say, our son does not have proper foundation in mathematics. What do they mean?
A foundation
Do
made
they
of
mean
cement.
like the foundation of cement and bricks and mortar, like the foundation of a building? No, they take the word foundation in a figurative way. Foundation as that which is primary, which lays at the base and allows more to be brought into existence. So the basics he didn't get. That's why he's weak in mathematics.
So it's
That's what they
figurative.
mean. It's a figurative way.
Yes.
He is a rock. Somebody says about his friend, rock is stable. You can stand on it. So my friend is dependable. That's what we mean.
Yes.
So there are different, similes and many other ways in which we use language.
So in Genesis 1, when God talks about the day, what does he mean?
The word day in the English language is actually a translation of the Hebrew word yom. And yom is used consistently in the Bible to mean either a 24-hour day or the daytime part of this 24-hour day.
Okay.
Okay? Or
In the day of Noah,
in the day of Noah, which is actually not a day,
a period.
a period of time. on the day of judgment. If you read all the judgment related passages, it is not 24 hours single day. It's a long period of time.
Yes.
So it's consistently used to mean any one of these three things. Now it's only the context that helps us to determine whether it has to be taken to mean a 24-hour day, literal day, or
A period.
a period of time, or the daytime part of the day.
Yes.
When we come to Genesis, before the sun was made a point of reference to the earth, which happened on the fourth day, at least from that day we can say it is the solar kind of day. A day that is dependent on earth's relationship to the sun.
Okay.
That is a 24-hour day. We know it. But before that, evening and morning were still there. That means the earth was still revolving and moving. And light was coming from other sources, like heavens, the stars. When light comes, there is light, there is darkness. So first day, second day. But can we be dogmatic in saying that even the first 3 days must have been 24-hour literal days that are dependent on the sun-earth relationship? No. So we need to remain open. That's why there are some Christians, very well-meaning, serious Christians, Bible-believing Christians, and scientists. They say there is a scope for us to believe in a day-age view.
Okay.
Okay? Rather than the literal 6 24-hour day creation days.
Okay. So when we meet Jesus face to face, we will ask him these questions.
Yeah.
Some things which are not exactly clearly
That's
mentioned, we have always a chance to find out
That's true.
later. Thank you so much, Reverend Sudhakar. We are so grateful to you that you took the time out to come here and clear all these doubts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Friends, the Bible is not against science, nor is it the enemy of science. How did Job know that the earth free floats in space, affected only by gravity? How did Noah know how to build a ship to perfection, and the dimensions of which are used even today by shipbuilders all over the world? The Bible is the infallible Word of God. It has the words of life in it. Read it for yourself and allow it to speak to you.
That was a challenging episode, wasn't it? The origin of the universe and the origin of life cannot be tested or observed. Both creation and evolution are faith-based systems in regard to origins because neither can be tested. The intent of Genesis was not to give a detailed timeline of the earth's history or a scientific description of how God created the universe. But if creation is true, then there is a Creator to whom we are accountable. If you have anything to say about this topic, please write to us at writetoprobe@gmail.com. I will see you again next week. Till then, be blessed.
You've got to probe.
Does your life match up with your talk?
Love is the force that propels us to do things.
How to walk the talk, or rather, how to talk the walk.
God is the highest. Humans are less than God.
We are called human beings and not human doings.
Doings?
People want to see what you are doing rather than hear what you're saying.
And they did not resist, they did not protest, they did not violently react.
Yes. Be willing to pay the price.
Pay the price. As Jesus said, if you love me, you will obey my commands.